"If you teach my son to read, I'll marry you," said the mother to the teacher, and he made her cry. Amanda Johnson stepped through the door of the small private classroom with a racing heart and trembling hands. Her red eyes betrayed sleepless nights and months of anguish. Her 6-year-old son walked beside her, head down, dragging his feet as he always did when it came to school. That's when she looked directly at Daniel Wilson, the private tutor recommended by a neighbor, and spoke the words that changed everything between them. The proposal that left her lips left the 28-year-old man completely stunned. Never in his 5-year career had he heard anything like it. "If you can teach my son to read, I'll marry you," Amanda said without hesitation. Daniel felt the world spin around him. This woman with brown eyes and a ponytail didn't seem to be joking. There was a genuine desperation in her voice that made him swallow hard. "Mom, Daniel began, but she cut him off. "Anne, I know it sounds crazy, but I've tried everything. 5 different teachers, 3 learning specialists, 2 neurologists. Ethan here is 6 years old and still can't even recognize the letters in his own name," Amanda explained, her voice breaking at the end. The blonde boy stayed silent, fiddling with his shoelaces. Daniel watched him and noticed something familiar in his behavior. It was as if Ethan was physically present, but mentally somewhere else. "May I ask what the specialist said?" Daniel asked, still processing the unusual proposal. "Attention deficit, severe dyslexia, even neurological problems. Everyone says something different," Amanda replied, wiping a tear with the back of her hand. "I work 3 jobs to pay for all these treatments, but nothing works." Daniel crouched down to Ethan's level and smiled gently. "Hi, Ethan. I'm Daniel. How about we play a little?" The boy looked up for the first time since arriving. Daniel saw a bright intelligence behind those shy eyes. "Do you like to draw?" Daniel asked. Ethan nodded, still silent. "How about you draw me something while I talk with your mum?" Daniel handed Ethan paper and colored pencils, and the boy immediately perked up and started drawing. Meanwhile, Daniel pulled a chair for Amanda. "Mrs. Johnson, I need to be honest with you. Your proposal surprised me, but I want to understand the situation better first." Amanda took a deep breath before speaking. "I've been a single mother for 3 years. Ethan's father left us when he found out about his struggles in school. Since then, it's just been him and me against the world," she explained, looking lovingly at her son. "I work as a cleaner at Riverside Community Hospital in the mornings, a bakery clerk in the afternoons, and do house cleaning on weekend nights." Daniel felt a tightness in his chest. He knew the struggles of single mothers well. His own had been through it. "About the proposal?" he began, choosing his words carefully. "I know it sounds desperate." "And maybe I am," Amanda said, lowering her voice. "But I've spent all my savings, sold everything I could. If Ethan doesn't learn to read, his future is lost. And if there's someone who can help him, I'd do anything." At that moment, Ethan held up his drawing. "Done," he said, showing the paper. Daniel and Amanda leaned in to look. What they saw left them speechless. Ethan had drawn perfect letters spelling "mommy" with a precision and delicacy astonishing for a 6-year-old. "Ethan, can you write?" Daniel asked, stunned. The boy turned red and quickly hid the paper. "I can't." "Daddy said I can't," he murmured. Amanda and Daniel exchanged glances. There was much more to this situation than met the eye. "Ethan, your dad isn't here right now. Can you show me what you drew?" Daniel said kindly. Reluctantly, Ethan showed the paper again. The letters weren't just legible, they were beautifully written. "Oh my," Amanda whispered. "He's never done this at home." Daniel began to understand what might be happening. It wasn't a lack of ability keeping Ethan from reading. It was something else. "Ms. Johnson, may I suggest we start with twice-weekly lessons? No pressure, no obligations. Let's see how Ethan progresses," Daniel proposed. "What about what I mentioned?" Amanda asked, embarrassed. "Let's focus on Ethan first. We can talk about the rest later," Daniel replied with an understanding smile. "Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now back to the story. In the days that followed, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about Ethan and Amanda. There was something in that mother's desperate gaze that deeply moved him. He decided to research the case before the first official lesson. The following Tuesday, Ethan arrived with Amanda for their first session. Daniel had prepared the room with games, colorful books, and various teaching materials. "Hi, Ethan. Remember me?" Daniel greeted cheerfully. The boy nodded shyly, but this time he seemed less tense. "Your mum will stay close by while we play, okay?" Daniel started with playful activities, far from traditional literacy methods. He noticed Ethan was drawn to picture books, especially ones with animals. "Ethan, what animal is this?" Daniel asked, pointing to a dog in a book. "Dog," Ethan answered promptly. "Can you show me the first letter of the word dog?" Ethan hesitated, glanced at his mother, then at Daniel, and finally pointed to the letter D. "Well done!" Daniel cheered. Throughout the lesson, Ethan demonstrated knowledge that contradicted earlier diagnoses. He could identify letters, understand complex stories, and even made creative connections. When Amanda and Ethan left, Daniel grew thoughtful. Something was wrong with the previous assessments, but he couldn't pinpoint what. The next day, Daniel decided to speak with Dorothy, the elderly neighbor who had recommended his services to Amanda. Dorothy had lived in the same neighborhood for 40 years and knew almost everyone's story. "Dorothy, do you know Ethan's family well?" Daniel asked during an informal visit. "Oh, honey, I sure do. A troubled family. That boy's father was a very strange man," Dorothy replied, pouring coffee in her small living room. "Strange how?" "Jealous, controlling, wouldn't let Amanda work, wouldn't let her go out alone. And with Ethan, it was even worse," the woman said, lowering her voice. "I heard terrible fights from their house." Daniel felt a chill in his stomach. What happened to make him leave? No one really knows. One day he just vanished. But before that, Ethan was a different child, talkative, bright, curious. After his father left, the boy became quiet, withdrawn, Dorothy explained. "Do you think something specific might have happened?" Dorothy sighed deeply. "Honey, I don't like gossiping. But that man yelled at Ethan a lot, said studying was nonsense, that reading was for lazy people. Once, I heard him say books drove people crazy." Daniel began to piece the puzzle together. Ethan didn't have a learning disability. He had emotional traumas that blocked his ability to show what he knew. In the next class, Daniel completely changed his approach. Instead of focusing directly on reading, he began working on Ethan's self-esteem and confidence. "Ethan, did you know there are superheroes who use books as their power?" said Daniel, showing an adapted comic book. Ethan's eyes lit up. "Really? Really? Want me to tell you the story?" During the session, Daniel made up stories where reading was presented as something magical and powerful, but always in a positive way. Ethan was clearly interested, but still hesitated whenever he had to write or read aloud. "Ethan, can I ask you something?" Daniel said at the end of class. The boy nodded. "Are you afraid of something when you try to read?" Ethan looked at his mother, who was sitting in a corner of the room, then back at Daniel. "Daddy used to get mad," he murmured. "But Daddy isn't here now, right? It's just you, your mom, and me, and we all care about you very much. Even if I read wrong?" "Even if you read wrong. In fact, especially if you read wrong, because then we learn together," Daniel replied warmly. For the first time since classes had started, Ethan gave a genuine smile. "Can I try?" "Of course you can." Daniel picked up a children's book with simple words. Ethan took a deep breath and began reading syllable by syllable. "House, house, that's it, keep going. The boy went to the house." Amanda's eyes welled up. It was the first time she had seen her son read a full sentence. "Ethan, you did it," Daniel cheered. The boy smiled proudly, but the smile soon faded. "Daddy can't know, right?" Daniel knelt to Ethan's level. "Ethan, Daddy won't know. And even if he did, you're doing something really good. Reading is a superpower, remember?" After class, while Ethan played in the schoolyard, Amanda approached Daniel. "Teacher, I don't know how to thank you. Ethan has never read like that before." "Ethan is a very smart boy, Mrs. Johnson. He just needed a safe space to show what he knows, Daniel explained. About what I said on the first day, Amanda began, embarrassed. You don't need to worry about that now. But I need to explain. It wasn't just desperation. It's just... Amanda hesitated. It's just that I've never seen anyone treat my son with so much kindness. It's been a long time since I've seen Ethan smile like that. Daniel felt something stir in his chest. There was a sincerity in Amanda's eyes that moved him deeply. Mrs. Johnson, can I ask you something? Of course. Have you ever tried therapy for Ethan? Not for learning problems, but for other issues? Amanda sighed. I don't have money for a psychologist. I've spent everything on other specialists. What if I knew someone who could help for free? You'd do that? I would. Ethan deserves all the help we can give him. That night, Daniel called his friend Rachel, a child psychologist who worked at a clinic offering free care for low-income families. Rachel, I need a favor. I have a student who needs psychological support. Tell me. Daniel explained the whole situation, only omitting Amanda's unusual proposal. Daniel, from what you're describing, it sounds like trauma. I can fit the boy into the clinic's schedule. When can they come? Thank you so much, Rachel. I'll talk to his mother. The next day, Daniel told Amanda about the possibility of free psychological care. She was moved. Teacher, why are you doing all this for us? Daniel thought about his answer. He couldn't share his own past yet, but he knew there was a personal reason behind all that dedication. Because everyone deserves a chance, Mrs. Johnson. And Ethan is a special child. The following weeks brought significant progress. Ethan began opening up more in class, displaying an intelligence that impressed Daniel with each session. The psychological counseling was also helping the child process past traumas. But it was during the 5th week of classes that something unexpected happened. Ethan was reading a book about dinosaurs when he suddenly stopped and looked at Daniel with a serious expression. Mr. Wilson, can I tell you a secret? Of course, Ethan. I've always known how to read. Daniel was surprised but tried not to show it. What do you mean? Ever since I was little, I saw the letters and knew what they meant. But Dad would get really mad when I tried to read. He said boys who read too much turned into... Ethan hesitated. Turned into what? Turned into fools. He said books were for lazy people who didn't want to work. Daniel felt anger rising inside him, but controlled his emotions. And what do you think about that, Ethan? I think Dad was wrong. Reading is fun, and you said it's a superpower. That's right. Reading really is a superpower. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. Ethan, can I ask you one more question? Sure. Do you want your mum to know you've always known how to read? Ethan thought for a moment. I do. But I'm afraid she'll be sad. Why would she be sad? Because she spent so much money on doctors because of me. Daniel understood the depth of the problem. Ethan hadn't just been traumatized by his father. He also carried guilt over costing his mother so much money. Ethan, your mum would be happy to know you're smart. The money she spent wasn't wasted. It was love. Love? Yes. When a mother makes sacrifices for her child, it's because she loves them deeply. Ethan smiled. So can I tell her? Of course. When Amanda arrived to pick up Ethan, Daniel asked to speak with her privately. Mrs. Johnson, Ethan has something to tell you. Ethan walked up to his mother and, with the confidence he'd gained over the past few weeks, picked up a book and began reading fluently. Once upon a time, there was a boy who lived in a yellow house with his mother. They were very happy because they loved each other very much. Amanda was speechless. Ethan, how? Mom, I've always known how to read, but I was scared because of Dad. Amanda began to cry, but this time they were tears of relief and joy. My son, all this time. Don't be sad, Mom. Mr. Wilson said you spent money because you love me. Amanda hugged Ethan tightly, then looked at Daniel. Mr. Wilson, how can I ever thank you? No need to thank me, Mrs. Johnson. Seeing Ethan happy is enough. But Amanda hadn't forgotten the proposal she'd made on the first day. In fact, the more time she spent with Daniel, the more she admired him, not just for his dedication to her son, but for the person he was. In the weeks that followed, classes continued, but now with a different focus. Ethan was reading books advanced for his age and even helping Daniel organize teaching materials. Then something happened that changed everything. One Thursday afternoon, as Ethan worked on creative writing exercises, Daniel received a phone call that visibly shook him. "Mr. Wilson, are you okay?" Ethan asked, noticing the shift in Daniel's mood. "Yes, Ethan. Keep writing your story." But things weren't okay. The call was from his sister, informing him that his younger brother, Jason, 23, had relapsed into drug addiction and was hospitalized. Daniel tried to continue the lesson as usual, but Ethan, with a child's sensitivity, sensed something was wrong. "Mr. Wilson, are you sad?" Daniel looked at the boy and decided to be honest, adjusting the truth for Ethan's age. "I am, Ethan. My brother is sick and it's got me worried. Will he get better? I hope so. Can I help?" Daniel smiled despite his sadness. "Just you being here helps me, Ethan." When Amanda arrived, she immediately noticed something was off about Daniel. "Professor, is something wrong?" Daniel hesitated but decided to share. "Family troubles, Ms. Johnson. Nothing that affects Ethan's lessons." "Do you want to talk about it?" "I don't want to bother you." "You're not a bother. You've done so much for us." As Ethan organized his materials, Daniel briefly explained about Jason. "My younger brother has always struggled. Problems with drugs, can't hold a job, been in and out of rehab." "That must be so hard on your family." "It is, especially because I've always blamed myself for not helping him when we were younger." Amanda gently touched Daniel's arm. "You can't blame yourself for someone else's choices." "I know, but when Ethan came here struggling, it felt like a second chance to help someone." "Is that why you're so dedicated to Ethan?" "Partly, yes." That night, Amanda couldn't stop thinking about their conversation. Daniel wasn't just an exceptional teacher. He was a kind-hearted person carrying his own pain. The next day, she arrived at school a little early with a homemade lunch. "Professor, I brought you some lunch." "Ms. Johnson, you didn't have to. I wanted to thank you. Someone who cares for others needs care too." Daniel was moved. It had been a long time since someone showed genuine concern for his well-being. "Can I ask you something, Ms. Johnson?" "Of course." "That offer you made on the first day, did you mean it?" Amanda blushed. "Professor, don't be embarrassed. It's just, you and Ethan have become very important to me." "Really? Really? And not just because of Ethan, because of you too." Amanda's heart raced. "Professor, Daniel. You can call me Daniel." "Daniel, she was flustered. "That offer wasn't just desperation. It was also because I like you. Like me. Like you very much." They held each other's gaze for what felt like forever. Something deeper than teacher-guardian was growing between them. "Ms. Johnson, Amanda, call me Amanda. Amanda, I have feelings for you too." Just then, Ethan came running over. "Professor Daniel, Mom, look what I wrote." The child showed them a spontaneous essay about family. "My family is my mom and Professor Daniel. They make me happy. I wish we could live together forever." Amanda and Daniel were touched by Ethan's simple, heartfelt words. "Ethan, would you like Professor Daniel to be part of our family?" Amanda asked. "Yes, can he be my dad?" Daniel knelt to Ethan's level. "It would be an honor, Ethan. So you'll live with us?" Daniel glanced at Amanda, who nodded. "If your mom wants me to." "She does, right, Mom?" "I do, sweetheart." But their happiness was interrupted when Jason, Daniel's brother, showed up at the school looking for him. "Daniel, we need to talk," Jason said, visibly agitated. Daniel tensed. Jason was clearly under the influence. "Jason, this isn't the place. It's about the money you lent me. I lost it all." Amanda watched, holding Ethan close. "Jason, let's talk outside," Daniel said, trying to steer his brother away. "Who's that? Your girlfriend?" Jason asked, eyeing Amanda. "She's a friend. Come on, Jason." "Daniel, who is he?" asked Amanda, concerned. It's my brother. Jason, this isn't the time. Jason looked at Ethan and then at Amanda. Oh, I get it. You're playing the nice guy to impress the lady. Jason, stop. Do you know what your hero did, ma'am? He abandoned me when I needed him most. Daniel was visibly shaken. Jason, you know that's not true, isn't it? When our parents split up, you went to live with our dad and left me with our alcoholic mother. Amanda sensed deep pain between the brothers. Daniel, you have responsibilities here. You can't keep saving everyone, said Jason, directing his words more at Amanda than at Daniel. Uncle Jason, you're hurting Professor Daniel, said Ethan with childlike sincerity. Jason looked at Ethan, and for a moment, his expression softened. Sorry, little guy. Didn't mean to scare you. Professor Daniel is good. He taught me how to read, said Ethan. He taught you to read? Yeah. And he told me reading is a superpower. Jason looked at Daniel with an expression mixing resentment and something like pride. You were always good at that, huh? Taking care of others. Jason, let's talk somewhere else, Daniel insisted. No, let me speak. Ma'am, what's your name? Amanda. Amanda, my brother is a good person, but he has this habit of wanting to save everyone, and in the end he just gets hurt. Jason, please, Daniel pleaded. It's true, Daniel. You always wanted to save me, but you never asked if I wanted to be saved. The conversation was interrupted by the school principal, who had noticed the commotion. Professor Daniel, is everything all right here? Yes, Principal. My brother was just leaving. Jason looked around, realized he was causing a scene, and sighed. Daniel, call me later, okay? I really need to talk to you. After Jason left, Daniel was visibly shaken. Ethan approached him. Professor, are you okay? I'm fine, Ethan. Your brother seems sad. He is. He's going through a tough time. Amanda walked over to Daniel. Do you want to talk about it? I don't know if you'd want to get involved with someone who has these kinds of family problems. Daniel, everyone has family problems. What matters is how we handle them. Jason isn't wrong about one thing. I really do have a habit of trying to save everyone. And that's a bad thing? Sometimes, because not everyone wants to be saved. Ethan tugged at Daniel's shirt. Professor, you saved me. And my mom too. Daniel smiled despite his sadness. You saved me too, Ethan. How? You gave me a family. That night, Daniel went to visit Jason in the small, messy apartment where he lived. The conversation between the brothers was hard but necessary. Jason, I'm sorry I wasn't the brother you needed. Daniel, it's not your fault, it never was. Then why did you say those things today? Because I'm angry. At myself, at life, at everything. And you're an easy target because I know you can take it. I can't take it anymore, Jason. I'm tired of feeling guilty for your choices. I know. And you're right to be tired. The brothers talked for hours. Jason admitted he was jealous of the life Daniel was building with Amanda and Ethan. They're a real family, Daniel, something we never had. We can try to be a family too, Jason, but you have to accept help. I want to try for real this time. Then let's try together. The next day, Daniel told Amanda about his conversation with Jason. He agreed to go to rehab, but it'll take time for him to recover. How do you feel about that? Hopeful. For the first time in years, I feel like maybe we can reconcile. What about us? Does this change anything? It changes nothing. If you'd like, Jason will be part of our family too. Everyone deserves a second chance. Ethan, who had been listening to the conversation, came closer. Uncle Jason is going to get better? Yes, Ethan. It'll take time, but he will. So, can he come visit us when he's better? Of course. Awesome. Our family is going to be big. Amanda and Daniel laughed at how simply Ethan saw the situation. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now back to the story. The following weeks were a time of adjustment and growth for everyone. Ethan kept progressing in his studies, now reading books meant for children 2 years older. Jason had entered the clinic and was responding well to treatment, and Daniel and Amanda were building a strong relationship based on mutual respect and love. But life had more surprises in store for them. One Saturday morning, while Daniel and Ethan were organizing books in the small home library they'd set up, Amanda got a call that left her pale. "Daniel, we need to talk," she said, hanging up. "What happened?" "It was from Riverside Community Hospital where I work. They offered me a spot in a nursing technician course, full scholarship. But that's great." "Yeah, but..." Amanda hesitated. "Classes are at night for 2 years, and on weekends. I won't have time for anything else." Daniel immediately understood her concern. "You're worried about Ethan?" "Exactly. Who'll take care of him while I'm studying?" "I will." "Daniel, you already do so much. Amanda, we're a family. Families help each other." Ethan, who had overheard, came closer. "Mum, are you going to be a nurse?" "Maybe, sweetheart." "That's so cool. Nurses take care of sick people, right?" "Yes, they do." "Then you can take care of Uncle Jason when he gets out of the clinic." Ethan's simple way of connecting things made Daniel and Amanda smile. "Ethan's right," Daniel said. "You'd be an amazing nurse." "But what about you? What about our plans?" "Our plans will still happen. They'll just take a little longer." Amanda was moved by Daniel's support. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. In fact, I have an idea." "What?" "How about we make our union official now? That way you can study in peace, knowing Ethan and I are legally your family." Amanda was surprised. "Are you proposing?" "Yes, the traditional way this time." Daniel knelt in front of Amanda with Ethan watching. "Amanda Johnson, will you marry me?" "Yes!" Ethan jumped with joy. "Now Mr. Daniel will really be my dad." "Yes, Ethan." The wedding was simple, held at the courthouse with Dorothy as a witness and Ethan as the ring bearer. Jason had been granted a day pass from the clinic to attend and looked noticeably better. "Daniel, thank you for never giving up on me," Jason told his brother. "Thank you for never giving up on yourself." At the small celebration at home, Ethan gave a speech that moved everyone. "I want to thank my dad Daniel for teaching me that reading is a superpower, and I want to thank my mum for never giving up on me. And I want to thank Uncle Jason for showing that everyone can get better." The following months brought challenges but also many joys. Amanda was doing well in her course, Daniel got promoted at the school where he worked, and Ethan was among the top students in his class. Jason completed his treatment and got a job at an auto repair shop. He visited the family regularly and had become Ethan's favorite uncle. "Daniel, you know what I've realized?" Jason said during a Sunday lunch. "What?" "That family isn't just who you're born with. It's about choosing to stay together." "That's true," agreed Amanda. "Ethan taught me that," Jason continued. "He accepted me as his uncle from day one, even though I was rude at first." "That's because children see people's hearts," said Daniel. Ethan, who had been listening, walked up to Jason. "Uncle Jason, you weren't rude. You were sad, but now you're happy." "I am, Ethan. Very happy." The family's life was finally in harmony when unexpected news arrived. The school where Daniel worked offered him a scholarship for a specialization in special education. "Daniel, you have to take it," Amanda said when he told her about the opportunity. "But it's 2 years of studying, and on weekends." "So what? I'll graduate from nursing school next year. We can take turns caring for Ethan." "Mom, Dad, are you going to study together?" Ethan asked. "Not together, sweetheart. We'll each study different things." "But will you get smarter?" "We will. Then I'll study harder too. I want to be as smart as you." Daniel and Amanda exchanged a glance and smiled. Ethan had become a confident and determined child, so different from the shy boy they'd met months before. During Daniel's second year of studies, something happened that tested the strength of the family they had built. Ethan was selected to represent his school in a reading competition. "Dad, I'm nervous," Ethan said the night before. "Why?" "What if I can't read well in front of everyone?" Daniel remembered the frightened boy he'd met nearly 3 years earlier. "Ethan, do you remember when we first met?" "I do." "And do you remember what I told you about reading?" "That reading is a superpower." "Exactly. And do you know why it's a superpower?" "Why?" "Because when we read, we can be anyone, go anywhere, live any adventure. and no one can take that away from us. Not even if I get nervous? Not even if you get nervous. Because the superpower is here, Daniel said, touching Ethan's chest. In your heart. On the day of the competition, the whole family came to support Ethan. Amanda, who had graduated from nursing school the week before, Jason, who was celebrating 2 years sober, and Daniel, who was in his final semester of the specialization. When it was Ethan's turn, he stepped onto the stage with confidence. The text he'd chosen to read was a letter he'd written to his family. This letter is for my family. My mom Amanda, who never gave up on me. My dad Daniel, who taught me that reading is a superpower. My uncle Jason, who showed me that everyone can start over. And to everyone listening, family isn't just who you're born with, it's who you choose to love. Thank you for giving me a family. There wasn't a dry eye in the audience. Ethan won first place, but the real prize was seeing how proud his family was of him. After the ceremony, Dorothy, who had followed the family's journey from the beginning, approached Daniel. My son, do you remember what Amanda said to you on the first day? I do. That if I taught Ethan to read, she'd marry me. And do you remember your answer? Daniel tried to recall, but couldn't. Not exactly. You said you'd think about it, Dorothy laughed, but what you actually did was so much more than teach a boy to read. You saved an entire family. Actually, Dorothy, they saved me. You saved each other. That's how a real family works. That night, as Ethan slept hugging his competition trophy, Daniel and Amanda talked in their backyard. Daniel, do you think our story sounds like a fairy tale? Amanda asked. Do you think it does? Sometimes. It started with so much pain and now we're so happy. It's because we learned that real-life fairy tales don't start with once upon a time. They start with, there was a time when everything was hard, but we didn't give up. And how do they end? They don't end. They turn into new stories. 2 years later, Jason married Rachel, the psychologist who had helped Ethan at the very beginning. Amanda was working as a nurse at the same hospital where she had once been a cleaner. Daniel had opened a clinic specializing in children with learning difficulties, and Ethan, now 10 years old, was a reading tutor at school, helping other kids who faced the same struggles he once did. During a family gathering, Ethan asked a question that surprised everyone. Dad, can I ask you something? Of course, Ethan. If you hadn't agreed to teach me, what would have happened to us? Daniel thought for a moment. I don't know, Ethan, but I know you would have found a way to be okay, because people like you and your mom always find a way. But I'm glad you said yes. Me too. And Dad, what is it? That offer Mom made on the first day. What offer? Asked Daniel, pretending not to remember. To marry you if you taught me how to read. Oh, that one. Did you know you were going to say yes from the start? Daniel looked at Amanda, who smiled. Ethan, I think from the moment you both walked into that room, I knew my life would change forever. For the better? For much better. And now? Now what? Now that I can read really well, are you still going to stay married to Mom? Daniel and Amanda laughed. Ethan, marriage isn't like tutoring. There's no expiration date, Amanda explained. Good, said Ethan, because I like our family this way. We do too, son, Daniel and Amanda said at the same time. Jason, who had been listening, stepped closer. Ethan, can I tell you a secret? Sure. Your dad didn't just teach you how to read. He taught me how to live. How? By showing me that family is who stands by us in hard times, and in good times too. Uncle Jason, are you happy now? Yes, I am. Very happy. So everyone in our family is happy? Everyone. That's good. Can I write that in my journal? Of course, said Daniel. But why do you want to write it? Because when I grow up and have kids, I want to tell them how our family came together. And how did it come together? With lots of love, and a teacher who believed reading is a superpower. The end. Now tell us what you thought of this story of perseverance and family love. Do you believe Daniel made the right choice by accepting the challenge? Share your honest thoughts in the comments. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other heartwarming stories like this one. Thank you so much for being here.